Hi everybody, it's your favorite Warlock Jay here. This was not how I was planning on recording this video. Something is wrong with my laptop, and I have to go fix that. So my camera's not working. Or it's working, but I can't, do audio. I can't record, it's not recording. I don't know why, I don't know how. It's what it is. So, today is Gary Gygax Day. Today, the creator of Dungeons & Dragons is born. On today's date, 1938, I believe. Yes, 1938. And, from what I've been told he was a very interesting character. I actually have his biography, Empires of the Imagination. He was a very interesting guy. Like, he came up from humble origins of immigrant parents, and once he started creating Dungeons & Dragons with David Arneson in 1978, he kind of just started becoming he started becoming a very known person in Minnesota and Wisconsin. He also started the Castles and Crusade Society, which was kind of like one of the first like fantasy wargaming groups out there. And when Dungeons and Dragons started escalating in popularity, this is according to the book, like the man was living like a rock star. Like he would have like supermodels over. He would do shit tons of cocaine. And again, read the book. This is not me just dramatizing myself. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm recording this on my phone. I know I said I wasn't going to record on my phone again, but I had to get this checked out. I had to get my computer checked out. But, yeah. Gary Gygax, he's kind of like this very mythical figure in role-playing games. And from what I've been told from people who've known him, I have his son on Facebook, and Ernest, if you're seeing this, hi man, it's Juan. I hope you're doing good. Yeah, like he was like this mythical figure, and a lot of the early hobbies, ideas on storytelling, kind of came from him. Like, according to him, contrary to like miniature war games, which is kind of very competitive, you don't compete against the DM. You always were collaborating with him in a storytelling world. And I find that fascinating because you always wanted to have story over rules. And I think that a lot of DMs these days don't actually, well, some do. Like, I'm not here to generalize. But I feel like some take the role of DM too seriously, like you have to go by the rules. Most of them just go by the fly. Go with the rules on the fly. And yeah, I'm very appreciative of Mr. Gygax and Mr. Sorry, that's the fire alarm going off. Yeah, in my house you can't have too many things electronically hooked up. So, and if that happens, you have to reset the router, the breaker. But it only goes for one half of the house. So, for example, if the AC is going on the living room and the AC is going on my parents' room, it won't shut off. But if I'm using the AC and using the microwave at the same time, that's gonna cause it to reset the breaker. Anywho, enough about my personal life. I feel like Gary Gygax is just like a genius man. This quote is often attributed to him, and I'm not sure if he actually did say this. For those of you who actually knew him, please correct me if I'm wrong. He said that the longevity of our company, TSR, was hoping that the players didn't realize that they don't need the handbooks. That they could just make up whatever the rules they see fit. Like, the rules written in this book are paper, not stone. Change things around as you see fit. Also, I'm going to be doing a review of this and Theros in a second. But, yeah. Gary Gygax is just freaking genius at this time. Like, I wish I had gotten to meet him. One of my high school teachers, he was influential and, like, inspiring to people who didn't meet him. Like, when he passed away, a few years ago, my high school teacher, Mr. Flanagan, and hey, Mr. Flanagan, if you're seeing this, I hope you're doing all right. He actually said he cried, and he's never met the man. That's how much influence this person has had. Like, D&D is such a widespreading hobby. I don't think people realize how much it goes into art, gaming. You'd be surprised how many celebrities play it, man. Like Vin Diesel, Robin Williams when he was live, Stephen Colbert, Joe Magdaleno, The Big Show of the WWE is a known avid player of Dungeons and Dragons. Like, and that giant of a man is a total frickin' nerd, from what I've been told. But yeah, this is Gygax Day, man. It's also part of Read a RPG in Public Day. So, for all you nerds out there, go out, read an RPG book in public. I plan on going to the beach tomorrow, and I'm going to take one of these bad boys with me to read on the beach. Because, it's a Read an RPG in book in public day. Oh. Sorry, my shitsu wanted me to get something for him. Anywho, let's do this. I'm about to, a while back, I got my hand on the Guildmaster's Guide to Ravnica and the Mythic Odysseys of Theros, which is 2 Magic the Gathering supplements for Dungeons and Dragons. I'm going to start off with my personal favorite, the Guildmaster's Guide to Ravnica. Now, a little bit of history of me and Magic the Gathering. When I turned 14, like when I started high school, I promised myself I would never get into a card game. I grew up playing Pokemon and a little bit of Yu-Gi-Oh! I promised myself that I would never play a card game as long as I live. Uno, Goldfish, anything else was just, no. Not for me. And for a while, for a good 6 years of my life, I was content with that. And then one of my friends and fellow Dungeons & Dragons nerd, Melissa, and Melissa, if you're watching this, hey, it's Juan, I hope you're doing alright, you gay ball of wonder. She said, like, she had a bunch of Magic the Gathering cards laying around. She didn't want any more. So she said on Facebook, the first person to comment gets these Magic the Gathering cards. And I'm just like, yes, I'll take them. And when I got them, I started shuffling around a little bit, and I realized, holy shit, like, this is pretty fun. And several years and several $100s later, I started building my own magic cube, as you can see right here. Don't ask me how much this costs, because my parents are still awake. But yeah, I started getting into Magic. And for those of you who don't know, Magic and D&D are published by the same company, Wizards of the Coast, so that's why they were able to make things like this. But yeah. Let's get on to the Guildmaster's Guide to Ravnica. So, what I like about this book was the expansion of the races, playable races. In this book, you can play as human, elf, centaur, goblin, loxodon, minotaur, Simic Hybrid, and the Vidalcan. Humans and elves are self-explanatory, as are Centaur. For those of you unfamiliar with mythology, it's basically like half man, half horse. Goblins are also very self-explanatory, short, green assholes. Now, Loxodon is a elephantine hybrid. An elephantine humanoid, complete with tusks, trunk, and like, I believe they are supposed to be medium. Let me go check the rules real quick. Yeah, they're medium. They're somewhere between 7 to 8 feet tall. Their massive bodies weigh between 300 to 400 pounds, which I think is pretty impressive. And then you have the Minotaur, self-explanatory, bull person, more bull than person. The Simic Hybrid. So in this world, there's a guild called the Simic Conclave. Is it Simic Conclave? It's the Simic. I'm just going to call it the Simic. And they firmly believe that in like mutating themselves to be the best version of themselves. So you'll see like members of the Simic Conclave are like have like webbed feet, they have claws, they have bat wings, you know, crazy shit like that. And basically you get to play as like a mutant. The Vidalcan are kind of like these blue-skinned humanoids that can breathe underwater, and they're super dexterous, like they have 6 fingers. And they're kind of like what's the name of that race? They're kind of like the Vulcan, there we go, the Vulcan from Star Trek. They think super logically, they like machinery, they don't like the idea of imperfection, because perfection means you've known everything about it, and that drives them to despair. So they're kind of like the science nerds of the group. There are several guilds you can join. There's the Zori Senate, they're kind of like the cops of this world. They're kind of like the lawmakers as well. There's the Boros Legion, they're kind of like the military. They're very super zealous. They're kind of like very gung-ho about everything. House Demir, they're kind of like the spies and information brokers of the world. They also do a lot of assassination work. Golgari, they're kind of like the janitors of the world. They'll take care of dead, decaying, dying things, the trash. But they're also like a death cult. The Grolcans, they're kind of like anarchist barbarians that live within the city. They're very much a more like might-based group, although there are shamans and other clerics in the group. The Izzet League is one of my personal favorites. They are kind of like the engineers and plumbers of the world, but they also do engage in mad science. The Orzhov Syndicate, they're kind of like the church-run group, but they're also like the bankers, the money loaners. They're based off like the Borgia-era Catholic Church. And the Cult of Rakdos, which is kind of like the BDSM entertainment group. They have like gladiators, bards, brothels. They also engage in assassination and intimidation work. And they're just like a bunch of sadomasochists. The Selesnya Conclave, which is they're kind of like the botanists, the arbors, or how do you put the herbalists. They're kind of like the nature people, but they're also kind of like a hive mind and engage in a lot of, how should I put this, questionable recruitment tactics. And then there, of course, there's the Simic Combine, which is kind of like the scientists, the doctors, the mutants of the world. Each guild has their own function in society. And each guild controls their own turf, and it's kind of like games of intrigue where they're trying to one-up each other in certain ways. What I also like about this is that they also do a great job in kind of like displaying the world, different NPCs from different factions. What else? They also go into each of the sidebars. Also, kind of like talk about some of the more some of the more obscure parts of the lore, like specific characters. If you want to play a guildless character, some of the more important NPCs, like Izoni, she's kind of like one of the big wigs in Golgari. There's Nakia, she's kind of like the centaur boss that's kind of associated with the Grawl. And yeah, that's just some of the rogues gallery that you'll see here. They have a guide specifically created for guild-based adventures, or like if you want to play a party of specifically members from a guild, that's 100% viable here. What else? The stat blocks and monsters and NPCs have their own like table of contents, so you won't have to dig through the actual table of contents to find them, which I thought was pretty good. Art was ripped from the Magic the Gathering cards, which it honestly isn't that bad because the art is fucking beautiful. Just look at this. Like, there's so much freaking eye to detail in this. I love it. Love it so much. They also have like a rank and renown system, so that you gain prestige within the certain group that you're in. I have not used this book yet, but I'm dying to run a Ravnica campaign. I love the setting so much. It's one of my personal favorites in the Magic the Gathering lore. I just hope they do more with their other settings in the future. Like Tarkir, which is kind of like based off of ancient China and Mongolia. I would totally play in that setting. I'm in love with this book so far. I also love the cover art. A lot of people complain about the cover art because they thought it was pandering. I really don't care. I think it's a fucking cool cover. And we can fight about that. I'm just kidding. I don't actually advocate violence. Anywho, let's move on to Theros. The mythical Odysseys of Theros. So in this book, we have for races the human, the centaur, the leonin, the minotaur, the satyr, the triton. Human self-explanatory, centaur self-explanatory. Leonin are the cat people of this group. I am very wary of like animal races in like role-playing games. Like the Elephantine, the Loxodon, are cool enough that I could forgive it to some extent. But races like Leonin, the cat people, is just overplayed in fantasy. The Minotaur, self-explanatory. The Satyr is basically like half person, half goat. They're kind of like the party animals of this world. Like, they're here for a good time, not a long time. And then there's the Triton. They're kind of like the merfolk of this world. This also comes with a new background called the Athlete, which I think is pretty cool. It's also like one of the subsects of Athlete. One of your specialties could be Pancration, which is something I used to practice back in the day. But yeah, they also have a dossier on like the gods of Theros. Divinity is a very, very important aspect of Theros. They also have like I said, they have an explanation of each of the deities in this world. Everything from Athreos, the god of the underworld, all the way to Thassa, who is like the goddess of water. And they also have a very big subsection on creating their adventures within Theros and how that incorporate the divinity of each of the deities here. And they also have like basically a rogues gallery of just like monsters and NPCs here, similar to Ravnica. But I kind of like this better than Ravnica presentation wise because holy shit, look at this art. Like, goddamn. And they also kind of like there's and also you could give characters supernatural gifts in this game, as they call them. So for example, the anvil route means you were made by Theros, god of the forge and fire, and you kind of look like very metallic. You don't, and that comes with some things like you have saving throws against being poisoned, and you have resistance to poison damage. You don't need to eat, drink, or breathe. You are immune to disease. You don't even need to sleep, and magic can't put you to sleep. You could choose to be a specific, like, you could choose to have like this great heroic destiny involving the divinity. You could choose to be an iconoclast, like literally, and basically like you understand that gods exist. You understand that they've got their place in the world. You just stick a middle finger to them and just be like, I'm going to do my own thing, screw you guys. That's basically what the iconoclast is. And also it kind of goes into lore of God, what are their names? Canios and Tiro. They're kind of like the first like LGBT characters in Magic, which is probably one of my personal favorite parts of this. How inclusive it is. Like I said, the art here is just amazing. I like how they incorporate like Greek art into the whole into the whole of it, and into the inspiration of this into the inspiration of the art for this book. And as you can tell here, I think this was from the card The Aronian Games. Don't quote me on that. And they also have a art spread of each of the books. This is Theros. He's the god of the underworld. And yeah, this is this is one of, I just love the art. Also, they have a map of Theros, which, if memory serves of my time in geography class, it has a very Greek inspiration. Also, like the monsters, they get an A+ for monster choice here. You'll see a lot of like emphasis on minotaurs, cyclopses, and like Greek-inspired monsters. And it gets an A+ for that one in my book. But yeah, these books are actually very good. If you haven't had a chance to pick them up, I highly recommend picking them up. If you have, let me know what your thoughts are in the comments. But other than that, yeah, that's gonna be it for this video, guys. Sorry I'm shooting on my phone. Not sure what's going on with my computer. I'll get it fixed as soon as I can. Have a happy Gary Gygax day, guys. Good day and good gaming.